You're watching the Sports and Political channel of LB. If you're not a subscriber to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and share these videos on your social media platforms. Let's get down to business. So, this particular video, we're going to talk about the Memphis Grizzlies. And, look, this team is one of the best teams in the NBA. Let's not get it twisted. They're one of the top teams in the West. They're currently on a 2-game losing streak because they lost back-to-back games to the Lakers and they lost to the Suns last night. They're on a back-to-back going against the Sacramento Kings tonight. Ja Morant and Steven Adams were downgraded to questionable, so in all likelihood, they're going to rest Ja Morant and Steven Adams in this back-to-back. But despite the fact that they're number 2 in the West, a game and a half out of the number 1 seed for the Denver Nuggets, there are some glowing issues about this team, right? And we're going to break it down the way I break it down. What's up, Nathan, Trey Knights, Gideon, Susie Q, my sister in the building. Salute to all y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Let's talk about these goddamn Grizzlies. Now, one thing I don't like about the Grizzlies right now is all this jaw-jacking they're doing. All this talking about this, that, and the third, right? They made some comments recently that rubbed me the wrong way personally, including this person here, Ja Morant. I love you too, Susie. But yeah, some comments that were made recently by Ja Morant. And matter of fact, that comment was made before their Christmas Day game against the Golden State Warriors. And you sitting up here talking about y'all ain't got nobody to worry about. Y'all have not arrived yet. This version of the Memphis Grizzlies only got to the second round last year. Now, for context, this team has shown signs of progression. Because remember when Desmond Bane was drafted, I think he was drafted 30th overall in the 2020 NBA draft, and they were playing in the bubble, right? That team got to the play-in game and lost to the Portland Trailblazers. Then the next year, they got to the play-in game, won both games against the Spurs and the Golden State Warriors, and they lost in the first round to the Utah Jazz. Then the next year, they get to the second round and lose to the Golden State Warriors, who ended up becoming eventual NBA champions. So we got to see if that trend continues upward. But there's some things that will prevent that trend from continuing upward. Do you know that the Memphis Grizzlies are dead last in the NBA in free throw percentage? They're dead last at 71%. Then if you go to like the last 3 games, that number has regressed down to like 68%. Their 3-point percentage leaves lots to be desired. And on top of that, one person that's going to be ended up being a trade bait or trade target is Dylan Brooks. Now, Dylan Brooks is the guy who was out here dating the Transformer, that Decepticon, and he has been horrible shooting the ball. Matter of fact, he's the offensive liability. Dylan Brooks, that's right. Dylan Brooks has been the Achilles heel on offense for the Memphis Grizzlies. That's right. Let's go. Last 3 games, because even though Dylan Brooks is a good defender, right? He's a good defender. He somewhat contained LeBron for what it's worth. Dylan Brooks has been anything but good on the offensive end. He's been anything but good on the offensive end. Now, for his career, he's averaged 14.7 this year. He's averaged 16 a game. Right? Now, Dylan Brooks, last night, played 30 minutes, scored 10 points, took 11 shots. Unacceptable. Friday, against the Lakers, we all know the infamous dust up with Shannon Sharpe and what have you, right? Played 31 minutes, took 17 shots, only had 9 points. Unacceptable. The game before that, they played Cleveland, right? Took 12 shots, only had 8 points. Martin Luther King Day, a week ago, when they played the Phoenix Suns, took 8 shots, had 9 points. Then, if you go before that, they didn't play in the Indiana game. January 11th, they played the San Antonio Spurs. Took 12 shots, only had 7 points. Unacceptable. What's up, B Skrills? And LA Sports Live, what's good? What's up with your homemade? Appreciate my man LA Sports Live in the building. Go subscribe to this channel, man. He put out great Lakers content. And by the way, for those of you who may not be aware, the Lakers acquired Rui Hachimura from the Washington Wizards. And, you know, when I think about that, right, the Washington Wizards have continued to show their aptitude when it comes to drafting, developing, and keeping players. But I'm going to talk about the Washington Wizards in another video. I'm going to talk about that specific trade in another video because there's some other things that we need to talk about in regards to that trade when it comes to what it means for Kyle Kuzma, the Wizards' long-term plans. I believe the Wizards are trying to lock Kyle Kuzma up long-term, but it is a catch-22 because Kyle Kuzma has a player option next year, and Kyle Kuzma will likely decline that player option in order to test out free agency. So it's a catch-22. So, yeah, I'm going to talk about the Wizards in another video because I really got some reservations about their GM. But anyway, back to the the Memphis Grizzlies, right? Back to them. For a team that talks so much trash, right? They seemingly don't seem to like to deliver when it matters most. You guys have not arrived. You guys are, what's up, Mark Wonderlick? Salute to you, bro. Wilts, Carla, 3,000 degrees. What's up, y'all? Make sure to hit that like button, right? You guys have not arrived yet, okay? You guys sit up here, talk all this nonsense, and yet you guys have not won no championship. Throughout the history of the Grizzlies, whether it be the Vancouver Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies, they played in one conference finals. One. Out their whole history. They only played in one conference finals. You guys are a bunch of young Thundercats that have not arrived yet, and yet you're doing all this jaw-jacking. Let your game do the talking. Your mouth don't need to be saying nothing, right? Look, if we know you're great, we're going to sing your praises for you. If we see that you're great, we're going to sing your praises for you. The legends of this game, right? Whether it be Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, Hakeem Olajuwon, Wilt Chamberlain, Magic Johnson, Kareem, to LeBron, right? All those guys, right? Those guys don't have to really say anything about how great they are. People will tell that story for them. Yeah, John Morant, you can go out here and put on some facials and stuff like that and show how high you can jump and all that. That's all good and all that, but how does that translate to winning a championship? Right? Jared Jackson Jr., right? If Jared Jackson Jr. in the playoffs can't stay out of foul trouble, if he can stay out of foul trouble, he can actually exploit a lot of these matchups here. But the fact of the matter is he can't stay out of foul trouble. So if he can't stay out of foul trouble, right, how his lack of availability is going to impact the Memphis Grizzlies from taking that next step, right? You guys have not arrived yet, and yet y'all out here talking all this nonsense. And then on top of that, you guys don't even play every day. You guys don't even play every day. You got John Morant possibly resting on the back-to-back. What is that all about? If you guys love the game so much, you should play every day, right? If you lost that game last night because you guys were down by a lot, you guys had to storm back against Phoenix and then end up losing that game. Shouldn't you want to play to make up for what happened last night? That's just me, though. That's just me, though. And Shannon Sharp actually exposed some stuff about the Memphis Grizzlies. They did, because you guys ain't mentally tough. You guys ain't built like that. You guys ain't built like that. You sitting up here, ain't mentally tough. You're resting on back-to-backs and all that. Look, you guys ain't got what it takes to make the NBA Finals. You don't. You don't. Could you go to the NBA Finals? Yeah, you could go to the NBA Finals. Will you though? Will you though? That's the question. Will you go to the NBA Finals? Will you stop talking and start playing and let your game do the talking so that way you can take that next step? You guys can't shoot free throws. Your three-point percentage is mediocre, and y'all sitting up here acting like y'all are right. Get the fuck out of here. Dylan Brooks out there taking all kinds of whack-ass shots he can't fucking shoot. And y'all here dating a Decepticon. What's up, Gideon?
Salute. What's shaking and baking, man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Gideon. What you got?
Well, the Memphis Grizzlies are growling right now, but they gotta stop growling and learn to shut up. If you're the Grizz, man, look, they have a good bench. They are deep, but like you said, LB, they don't need to talk right now. You haven't with this current roster, you haven't been to a conference final. I mean, come on, like they gotta learn to be quiet, let the game do the talking. And like you said, they got to work on the free throw shooting. Dead last at the free throw line, that's unacceptable. When you have Brooks as an okay free throw shooter, Ja needs to be more consistent at the line. Adams was atrocious at the line. I mean, another problem I have with this Grizzlies team and the widest team hasn't broken through yet as far as playoff success is gone. They don't do a lot of pick and pop with Jaren Jackson as far as him hitting the three. And Jaren Jackson needs to bang sometimes. You know what I mean, LB? He needs to bang sometimes. He needs to stay out of foul trouble. Jaren Jackson needs to stay out of foul trouble, though. And I don't understand why this team doesn't utilize more of the mid-range game, though. Because Brooks can hit mid-range, and so can Tyus Jones, and so can Bane. But these guys don't utilize the mid-range game, and that's an issue there if you're the Grizzlies, though. And if you talk Taylor Jenkins, you know, he's a good coach. He's done a good job with this team. Just needs to just do a little bit more, do more adjustments, though. But if he can work on those things, they should be fine. But if you're Memphis, man, win a championship or two, and then you can start talking. You lost to an injured Warriors team on Christmas Day without Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry. That's unacceptable. And you got punked that night. You got punked. It got so bad that Klay Thompson had to jib-jab on Dylan Brooks' face. When do you see Klay Thompson move his gums? Not much. So I don't understand that. So if you're the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies lost to the Suns twice, both without Devin Booker, that's crazy. You lost to the Lakers without AD, Lonnie Walker, and Austin Reeves in a game you up by 13 in the third quarter. And you lost that game because you missed 14 free throws and you didn't, and a Dennis Schroeder pickpocketed Desmond Bane for the and one dagger. and Brandon Clark doinked the second free throw, the Grizzlies have to be quiet and shut up right now. They don't need to act like they're tougher than what they are, and that's my analysis on the Grizzlies.
Yep. So, as a team, for the season, the Memphis Grizzlies is at the middle of the pack in the NBA, shooting at 41%, shooting 47.1% for the season.
Mm-hmm.
Their last 3 games, they are third to last in field goal percentage. That would justify the 3-game losing streak.
Mm-hmm.
Because they can't shoot.
Right.
At home, they are middle of the pack at home in shooting, and then on the road, which they'll be at tonight against Sacramento, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They're 19th on the road when it comes to field goal percentage.
That's horrible.
Now, as far as like the scoring defense, like in the season, they are 7th, which is not bad. They're scoring, they weren't, like I said, they're one of the best defensive teams in the league. Their last 3 games,
it's been poor. Yeah, it's been poor the last 3 games. Yeah.
Oh, who the fuck Memphis at? They're actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 12th in scoring defense their last 3 games. So, I mean, not bad per se, but when you can't shoot free throws, man, look, that pretty much neutralizes anything that pretty much neutralizes anything. If you can't make free money, like who doesn't like free money? If you're out here missing 14 free throws in the game, you could have won by 1 point had you made all of them. It's just unacceptable, man. You cannot sit up here and miss that kind of money and think you're going to be an NBA Finals threat. Do you know that? What's up, CB Sports TV? Salute.
CB. What's cracking?
That's the homie right there.
Woo!
So, as far as like in recent memory, there's only been 2 teams I know in recent memory that made the conference finals shooting that poorly from the line.
The Shaq and Kobe Lakers were one. I'm pretty sure it has to be the Shaq and Kobe Lakers. Another team that I think, and I'm not sure, my opinion might be wrong here. Another team that I think was not a great free throw shooting team. It was either the Bill Russell Celtics or the D Wade Heat with Shaq, the Shaq D Wade Heat, one of those teams. LB?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I think I know the Shaq and Kobe Lakers were a part of that. I know that. The other team, it was either the Shaq and D Wade Heat or the Bill Russell Celtics. So one of those teams. And this team is turnover prone too. The Grizzlies are also kind of turnover prone too, if you notice though, especially against the fast breakers. John Morant's a great player, and Morant does a lot of Morant magic. But sometimes Morant could go from a maniac, from massacring to being a maniac in a bad way. Sometimes he can get too handsy with the ball, try to do up and downs and all that. You don't need to do that if you jog. All you need to do is just, yes, you can play fast, but just play calm. So Memphis is also kind of turnover prone too. Steven Adams, he can pass sometimes, but when you double and trap him in the post, he's not a great passer. Same thing with Jaren Jackson. Like, Dylan Brooks is an awful passer. He's a good defender, but Brooks cannot pass gas. He can't pass the ball. So the Grizz need to be better as far as assists-wise and learn to share the ball. And they need to learn to limit the turnovers. That's my issue with Memphis.
So my issue for them, as long as they can address those issues right there, I think they'll be all right. But yeah, with Dylan Brooks shooting as awful as he has, he's more of a scoring dependent guy.
Agreed.
I just don't, if he can raise his shooting, and I think they'll be all right. They just need to stop talking and play ball. What's up? Who else is up in here? RG Titan, my sister Gigi Chillin 702. Yeah, so yeah, we appreciate you for being up in here. Hit that like button and support the channel. Now, if you want to donate, there's my Cash App, there's my PayPal. If you want to donate, and any and all donations are appreciated. Now, they're number 2 in the West. So as of right now, assuming things hold up the way they do, they will look. Let me see.
They would play Phoenix in the first round if Phoenix would have beat, hypothetically speaking, if Phoenix would have played Minnesota right now, because the T-Wolves are the 8th seed and the Suns are 7. If, let's say, the Grizzlies stay where they are at the 2 and the Suns, let's say, beat the Wolves, they would play like the Suns in the first round. Or they can play the Timberwolves too, LB. I'm saying the season would end right now. And remember, they beat Minnesota last year in 6. But those games, Minnesota had a chance to beat them, though. And should have been if you think about it.
Well, I don't go off the coulda, shoulda, woulda. I go off the end result. And, Memphis, they were expected to beat the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves just made it, interesting. So, but at the same time, Memphis did what they were supposed to do against Minnesota. So, right. But yeah, for me, all right. So let's talk about this thing. All right. So hold on, because I'm, getting all discombobulated and all that. So do you expect I expect the Memphis Grizzlies to be buyers at the trade deadline to get over that hump, right? Let's see. I wish all these dangling pop-ups on Basketball Reference would stop. They're slowing down my computer. So look at these
Right. Do you think the Grizzlies need a Harrison Barnes?
Sacramento ain't about to give up Harrison Barnes.
Okay. What about a Gary Trent? You think Memphis should consider a Gary Trent?
He's similar to Dylan Brooks.
Good point. Ooh, I have another one. How about this one? What about Bojan Bogdanovic from the Pistons? Bogey. How about him? You think he will fit?
I don't know. It depends on what Detroit's willing to give up. I mean, can he be a fit? Yeah, but he's a scoring dependent guy too. True, I mean, because what value? Like all these guys, like Dylan Brooks, Gary Trent, Bojan Bogdanovic, they all are one and the same. If they're not scoring the basketball, but Dylan Brooks is a good defender, so I'll give him that. He's a good defender.
Gary Trent too.
Right? But to a lesser degree, Bojan.
Right.
I just don't see the upside in getting a guy Bojan Bogdanovic. I just don't see it. Now, other people might disagree, but I don't see the upside in getting him.
Yeah, I can understand why. I can understand why. This team needs a 2-guard, though. To me, they need a 2-guard. I'll talk about Memphis, and to me, this team, needs a.
All right.
Yeah.
So looking at this, right? Because see, you don't get this kind of analysis nowhere else, man. Now, looking at this, right? Trade deadline's coming up.
Yeah.
The trading deadline's coming up. So, looking at this, Jaren Jackson Jr. ain't going nowhere.
Agreed.
Steven Adams ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, they traded Steven Adams for Jonas Valanciunas a couple years ago in that trade with New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously John Morant ain't going nowhere. But there's three people in this, and at least three people I can see right now that are trade targets.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the core players who is, playing significant minutes. I'm not talking about the bench warmers like the Santi Aldama and Xavier Tillman Sr. and the Kenny Chandler and all these other clowns. I'm not talking about them, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
right off the bat, two
Mm-hmm.
people will be in trade discussions. That's Dylan Brooks,
Yeah.
and the other guy will be Tyus Jones.
Agreed.
So two guys right off the bat, that's going to be people going to want in trade discussions. Now, Memphis is probably going to be reluctant to get off of Tyus Jones because Tyus Jones provides depth for the Memphis Grizzlies. And then whenever John Morant's injured,
right,
Tyus Jones cracks the starting lineup, and it's like the beat can continue on. It's like they can continue on doing what they're doing. They don't lose a step. They don't have to change what they're doing offensively just because John Morant's out. So they could be more reluctant to come off of Tyus Jones, but they'll be less reluctant to come off of Dylan Brooks. I think he's the most likely trade target. What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't think Memphis should trade. I don't think Memphis is going to trade Tyus Jones because he's a guy that can hit the mid-range shot, can hit the top of the key three. He can hit big shots. He's a great underrated defender, great underrated passer, can slash at the rim. He's a good role player to have in your team that can stabilize the offense. I don't see the Grizz swapping Tyus Jones. However, for Dylan Brooks, he might be the first thing smoking out of Bourbon Street in Memphis. He might be the first thing smoking if he doesn't get his act together. He's a great defender, but inconsistent shooter. And who knows? Some teams could use a Dylan Brooks. Some teams could use a Dylan Brooks. So Dylan Brooks could be gone in this deadline. But I think Tyus Jones stays.
Of course, other guys, because based on what could happen salary wise, Zaire Williams could be on there. He has put this thing in blue is the team option. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the team option in blue. So I mean, obviously the team picked up their options of Brandon Clark and John Morant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Their salaries kick in next year.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Lavaria, he got 2 years left. He could be a possible trade target, such as David Roddy.
Conchar is okay, best.
He's not going anywhere. Desmond Bain, they're going to prioritize Desmond Bain. He got a couple years left on this deal right here.
Mm-hmm.
But Desmond Bain is a guy that is in the core of the Memphis Grizzlies, so you can expect the Memphis Grizzlies to re-sign him. Agreed. And he's going to command a lot of money. Xavier Tillman is another guy that has a team option next year. I don't think they're going to. I think they'll decline his option, and he'll end up becoming a free agent, and they'll just trade him. So, but yeah, the main piece is going to be Dylan Brooks. Danny Green, I don't know where he's at, what he's doing.
Yeah, he tore his ACL. He's not playing this year. He tore his ACL against the Heat in Game 6 with the Sixers. So that's why he's not playing this year.
Yeah, so he out. So he's not going to. So yeah, that's where we at when it comes to the Grizzlies, right? So all they got to do is stop all that zoom, 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 and the boom, boom, and shaking your ass all over the arena, talking shit, and actually get out there, play, make your free throws, hit some goddamn on threes. Let's see what they 3-point
20 is 3-point shooting.
So as a team, shooting three.
Yeah, they're just not a good 3-point shooting team. And do you think Memphis settles for too many threes when you watch them sometimes?
Well, that goes back to my original point of shot selection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Memphis is 28th in 3-point shooting. They don't. I know. And the last 3 games, they're shooting 33% from downtown. That's embarrassingly disgusting.
What the hell?
Cabbage.
This is bullshit here, right?
Yeah,
So 3-point percentage, they're 20th at 35%. So far in this season, they're 20th in 3-point percentage at 30. Denver leads at 38, at close to 40%. But yeah. And as you can see here, the Sacramento Kings number 1 in the NBA in scoring. That's who they play tonight. And where is Memphis?
Memphis is top 5.
At
Memphis is number 5 in scoring. However, when I watch them play, they can be streaky offensively sometimes, especially in the fourth quarter. Because this is when we got to use context. I know they're top 5 in scoring, but they're 23rd and fourth quarter scoring. Because if you keep them at the half court, you can slow them down.
So that's where we at with the Memphis Grizzlies. Now I know we just have to see what they can do here in this next few weeks. Next month is the All-Star break, and we're really going to see who are the contenders, who the pretenders going to be. You got a lot of people in the comment section saying that the Memphis Grizzlies are pretenders. So I think if they can get their head out their ass, they can be a contender. This team has potential to make the NBA Finals. But all this talking, all this jaw jacking, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing I need to talk about, right? But anybody that played basketball on any level, I'm not talking about the stat nerds. I'm not talking about these motherfuckers who don't know nothing about nothing. I'm talking about people who actually put a ball in their hand, dribbled that motherfucker, took it to the cup, got contact, all that shit, right?
Right.
The game of basketball is just as mental as it is physical.
Okay.
Guys can be, if you are not mentally tough, guys who do a whole bunch of jaw jacking, who do a bunch of physical little things here and there, take little cheap shots here and there, that can have an effect on you mentally. If you're not mentally tough, that can get you out of your game. And a lot of times, if you're out of the game, if someone can talk you out your game, that's half the battle right there.
That's true. That's true. You got to be, like you said, mentally tough. You also have to be willing to ignore criticism and learn to improve your game, and willing to not let the outsiders bother you. Yeah.
But see, that's easier said than done. Anybody can say that, but when it comes time for the truth to be told, what will the story tell you? Is the story going to tell me that you can be manipulated by me doing a little nudge here and say a little thing there? Say, hey man, if somebody could come up to you while you playing the game, right? Hey man, I heard your girl pussy smell like Honey Nut Cheerios, right? And then that shit gets them all upset.
Right.
Right? If somebody can do that, and YouTube is out here, messing with my signal, even though my Wi-Fi good. I know YouTube mess with me. If they can do that, then, and especially in a 7-game series where you can make adjustments, you know the opponent, you've seen the opponent, and you can actually do game planning for that opponent. There's not this one thing where you play them one time and then it is what it is, right?
Right.
You can actually play them, make adjustments as you go, and then on top of that, you can base your game plan off those adjustments. And then, we'll see what happens. Now, you say, what do I think about Shannon Sharp apology to the Grizzlies? I just think Shannon Sharp at this point not more to control opposition. Because at the end of the day, if he was really about that life, right? If he was really about that life, you know what I'm saying? So... Exactly. You're right. If you mentally compromise your game, you're right.
Agreed.
You already know what I'm talking about.
Agreed. And some team agreed, and also some teams to me allowed. Another reason why some teams are, how can I say, mentally weak is because that they're afraid to fail. That's the thing. You cannot be afraid. You can't be afraid to fail. You know.
Yeah, you can't be afraid to fail. I mean, but hey, my thing is if you get that kind of money. What's up, TJ?
So
You say, what do you say? He say, I believe they are contenders, but I feel the Lakers have a shot against any team in the given season.
I mean, every team has a shot.
You know,
Of course, they have a shot. Doesn't mean they're going to go far. Of course, they have a shot. Doesn't mean they're going to go far.
well, that's the thing, TJ. There's a few things that has to come in play for the Lakers to do that, right? One, they got to get healthy. They got to get Anthony Davis back. Two, they lost a lot of close games, whether it be through the refs, poor execution down the stretch,
right?
Stars coming up short in crucial moments.
Mm-hmm.
When you have that going on, and you can fix that, then you can't. Yeah, you.
I mean, to an extent, TJ Boxing is right. Of course, they have a shot. When you're in the playoffs, every team has a chance to beat anyone. But I think
hold on. We ain't. Well, I ain't even talking about. You have to first qualify for the playoffs first. That's the first thing. The Lakers have to qualify, and at this rate, they are in the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
So they got to get in there, and then we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I predicted last year that Russell Westbrook will start the season as a Laker, but he will not end the season as a Laker. And it's only a matter of time now before Russell Westbrook gets moved. Because he would have been gone already, but teams don't want to absorb that $47 million contract. Now that the season is about halfway gone or a little over halfway gone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you will see the Lakers really make that push to move Russell Westbrook. Now, this is the question. This is the question we haven't asked yet. If you move Russell Westbrook, there needs to be a guarantee that he's going to re-sign with that team. Because I don't see a team taking on Russell Westbrook for a half a season for, unless they know for assurance that the Lakers going to pay their salary, pay the rest of that contract, right? But I'm pretty sure. But either way, that contract comes off the books at the end of the year.
Right.
If you move Russell Westbrook, because the Lakers will move Russell Westbrook to who I don't know, but he's gone. That team that takes him on, what are they looking to do after the season? Are they going to re-sign him, or they're going to let him test free agency out, or whatever? Mm-hmm. But the fact of the matter is, Russell Westbrook is a goner at the deadline. Could be could be a little bit before the deadline, but either way, he's not going to be a Laker. He's not.
Teams that Russ might go to is either like the Spurs or like the Magic or some young team in there. That's my guess.
Oh, by the way, Russell Westbrook is not just going to go to any team, and any team just not going to take Russell Westbrook. I believe that for Russell Westbrook, he's going to want to go to a team that's contending. He don't want to be part of no rebuild project. So that eliminates teams like Orlando, who's building a young core, Houston, who's building a young core, even though that process takes forever. San Antonio's building a young core. Because if that's the case, they wouldn't have moved DeJounte Murray last year.
Good point.
So and Detroit. So those four teams, we know for a fact Russell Westbrook's not going to.
And Charlotte too. They got to eliminate Charlotte too. Yeah.
Well, Charlotte is just a disaster. They're a disaster. They're looking to offload some pieces. So don't be surprised if guys like Terry Rozier, Kelly Oubre, Gordon Hayward, PJ Washington, maybe even some of the younger guys like Nick Williams. I think that's his name is.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised those guys get moved. But like LaMelo Ball, he's the future. They're going to build around him.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Plumlee is another trade target. So I heard the Lakers may be talking about acquiring Mason Plumlee. That will allow AD to play the 4 as he greatly desires to do, right? Mm-hmm. So Mason Plumlee will allow AD to play the 4 while he occupied the 5. Thomas Bryant, he can be a nice contributor off the bench, but he cannot be an everyday starter.
Agreed. He's a bench player. Yeah.
That's my whole assessment on that thing. But as far as like, so they got a nice piece in Rui Hachimura. Now how he fits on that group of misfits that's on the Lakers, right? Like Juan Toscano Anderson should not be this. Like he should get an allergy whenever he touches the court.
Yeah, he can't dribble the ball.
Fucking garbage.
He's only a defender. That's it.
He is doo. Juan Toscano Anderson is doo. I don't know why the fuck they even signed that motherfucker to begin with. He's trash.
Yep.
But anyway, that's my fucking rant. I'm sorry.
Right.
But anyway, so Kendrick Nunn is gone.
Yep.
The Lakers gave up 3 second-round picks to get this guy. Now, you giving up 3 second-round picks and a player for Rui Hachimura. He should be along that mix when he should be one of those wing defenders that
agreed
that they're talking about when it comes to you have Lonnie Walker when he comes back, Austin Reeves when he comes back. Some situations Rui should crack the starting lineup, maybe on days where LeBron doesn't play. So they don't have a point guard. Matter of fact, LeBron is the point guard. He is the point guard. Let's just be honest. Let's just keep this above. LeBron is the point guard. But Rui Hachimura in spots can contribute, and he can rebound, and he can defend.
And he's athletic too.
And he's only 24 years old. So there's some youth and some kind of upside to him. So while this is a win for the Lakers, it's anything but a win for the Washington Wizards. But I'm going to talk about that in the video, right? Okay, final thoughts about the Grizzlies, right? Without going to some long-winded diatribe over stuff we already covered, are there contenders or pretenders in your book?
I think they're contenders. I don't think they're pretenders. I think they're contenders because when I look at the Western Conference, there's not a lot, and I think the Grizz have the depth to get deep in the playoffs. I'm not saying they'll win the championship. I'm saying that they're contenders as far as getting to the NBA Finals is concerned because there's a whole lot of teams that either regressed or aren't deep, or a lot of teams that have not been deep in the playoffs. So I think Memphis is a contender because you have rim protection as far as Adams, Clark, the Triple J, and even Brooks sometimes. And you have guys that can force steals like Ja, sometimes Brooks, Zion Williams, Tyus Jones can force steals. So I think they're a team that can get deep in the playoffs. So they are a contender as far as NBA Finals wise, but I don't think they'll win the championship. But I do think they are NBA Finals contenders.
To me, until they address their 3-point shooting and their free throw shooting to more of a degree, until they address those 2 issues, and until they stop talking like they this wild Berlin grizzly bear, and in spots they stop playing like Care Bears, they are a pretender to me. They're a pretender right now. Could that change as time goes on and we get more evidence? Yeah, that could change. I reserve the right to change my opinion, right? So as of right now, though, the Grizzlies are pretenders. They are a second round exit, and that's where I'm at on that. Now, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, oh, by the way, Gideon, appreciate you for coming on as always.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And I appreciate everyone for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, share these videos on your social media platforms. And last but definitely not least, shouts out to the LDBC. This your man. Scream at me. Ah!